Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Andrew from PoshDesigns, and today I have episode 29 of my weekly series called GFX Tip Friday, where I go into Photoshop, After Effects, Cinema 4D, or another demanding editing program, and I show you guys one tip that can be used in everyday editing. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to follow up on my cartooning video that I started up on GFX Tip Friday 28, and this is going to be how to kind of fill in your cartoon character. So right here we have the outline of Mac Miller, and if you guys haven't seen part 1, obviously go check out part 1. That is going to be the outlining 101 video. It'll show you everything about outlining your character and how to kind of get it all set up so you guys can get to this stage. So right here, like I said, we have Mac Miller, and we can just see a picture of him right here. And yeah, so it looks pretty much just like him, so it's pretty awesome. And we're going to start with filling in the jacket. Now, I'm not going to fill in this whole character in this video just because I don't want to waste your guys' time and everything, so I'm just going to kind of give you guys the gist of how to fill in your character. So what we want to start off with is we want to make a new layer, and we want to kind of title it however it's going to go in order. So right here we're going to start off with the jacket, so I'm going to go to layer 1 and I'm going to type in jacket. And what we want to do is we want to set the normal, and we want to select multiply. And what this will do is it'll basically give us more of a cleaner look to when we are adding shadows and whatnot. So we're going to come up here to the paintbrush tool, and I'm going to actually select back on the picture that I have, and I'm going to select the color to kind of what his jacket color was at that time. So this is obviously a more of a dark kind of grayish jacket. So now that we have that, we can kind of select that off. And then what you guys can also do is you guys can use the brackets to kind of make a bigger brush, because this is going to take some time, coloring in and everything like that. But what you can also do is hold down Alt, and that'll zoom in on wherever we are starting at. And as we see, if we go on the outline, it's not actually going to hurt the outline. That's a really nice thing about multiply as well, is that we're not going to have to worry about messing up the outline or anything like that. Just make sure that you guys don't go out of the outline. Now I'm going to kind of teach you some tips and tricks to if you guys do go out the outline, or just some tips and tricks just in cartooning itself. So like I said, you guys can use the bracket. Now if you guys watch my my circle, it will get bigger or smaller depending on if I hit the left or right bracket. If I hit the right bracket, it does get bigger, or if I hit the left bracket, it does get smaller. Also, another thing is if we accidentally do go out, we can hit just E, and that's going to open up our paintbrush. Sorry, not my paintbrush, but my eraser. And I can also hit the left and right bracket to make those bigger. And what I can do with this now is I can just kind of get rid of this. And the nice thing about multiply is that I can go on the outline and it doesn't affect it. Then I can hit B, and it'll go right back to my brush, and I can continue painting my character in. So that's basically how we're going to start shading. So what I want to do is just make a really big brush for obviously this jacket. We don't need a really small pen to be able to do this, so we can just kind of fill in the most of it and get the gist of it for you guys in here. So not too hard to fill him in and everything like that. So like I said, I'm not going to fill in this whole thing, but like I said, you guys can hold down Alt. Obviously use a really small brush. I use maybe about a 10 size brush when I'm filling in the edges, just because you want it to look perfect, you want it to look professional, and you don't want it to look like crap in the end. So that's how you guys would start doing the jacket. Now what a lot of people need to get down though is just the more of the facial, and that's what I'm going to focus on the most. So what I want to do is make a new layer. I'm going to call this the face fill. And basically what we want to do is turn on our picture, and we want to sample some of his skin, but we don't want obviously it to be this pink color, because that's obviously not going to indicate that that's his skin. And obviously a lot of this white is due to the flash from the camera that was taking the picture. So if I go over here more to the left, it's going to give us more of a kind of more of a rough type of deal of what his skin color would be. This was probably taken in the winter because Mac Miller is usually not this pale, but what I'm going to do is kind of spitball skin color, so maybe like that if we take off the color Alright, so that looks about good just for his skin color. So what we can do now is kind of fill it in again. Now as you see, if I do go over the outline, it's going to go over the outline. But if I just hit from normal to multiply, it will fix it. Now just like I said, if hold on, let me get back to multiply. Now just like I said, if you press E, and now we can get rid of some of the stuff that we did on the outline of that outline. So now we can hit back to B, I can hit left bracket, and now I can kind of fill in as I go. So not too hard, and like I said, you guys, just depending on the picture, you guys are going to want to fixate the color to however you think it should look. So you obviously don't want to fill them in with a bunch of white because that would be wasting your time, and it's just not going to be really the best looking guy that you can possibly do. Now a lot of people ask why can't you use the paint can, and the paint can, you can use it, but I wouldn't recommend it. So if you go into your outline, you can fill in his skin color, and let me just take away his face fill. You can fill in the face, but as you see, it's not going to fill in all around the face. It's not going to get all of it, as you guys see around. If I go here to my paint brush, as you see right there, it's not going to fill in completely, and the reason that is if I hit multiply. And the reason that is because of the fact that you are going to be running over your outline, and it's going to have kind of that white line around anywhere you try to go. So let's say if I were to try to do his glasses, let me just select a black color and I go to my paint bucket. As you guys see right here, it is going to show up as a little white line around the outline. Now we can obviously just keep kind of, let me backtrack once, and if we just keep trying to paint him, obviously it's not going to be perfect. Now what you can do is you can kind of, let's say, you can kind of mock the system. So what you can possibly do is you could take your outline, you could right click on it, you could say duplicate the layer, hit OK, and then what you could do is take away the, we're going to have to take away his skin color real quick off of this outline. So if I were to take this outline and I say Control J, that's going to duplicate it. Now if I were to go onto this outline and I were to, let's say, fill it in, so let me pick a quick skin color real quick here for us. If I were to fill it in now, I can double click and now it'll be fine. So right here on my original outline, I just click the paint bucket and I just fill them in. So kind of just like that, and I can show you an example with the glasses. If I were to try to fill in the glasses, I hit it once and then I hit it twice, and now it's going to show up like that, which I don't know why it's doing that with the sunglasses. Usually it doesn't do that, but for an example, I can color in his eyebrows real quick for you. If I were to fill in his eyebrows, you guys see that it does fill it in a lot more better than it usually does. And doing that, it kind of eliminates having to go around with the brush and kind of fixate and fixate and fixate everything that you possibly have to. Now with this method, like I said, all you have to do is duplicate the outline, and that's it. You just want to paint, use the paint can on the original outline, and then the outline copy will kind of remove all that kind of white layer and stuff like that. Now what I recommend doing it like this, me personally, no, I don't like doing it this way. I like to actually use the paint can, and not the paint can but the paintbrush, and fill in the actual stuff, just because it does look a lot better. But this is a really fast way to do it, and you guys could obviously do that. Now if it's just something simple, if you guys are just going on a test run, it looks fine, it really does. But just me personally, I like to use the paintbrush. So that is just a really quick way to kind of fill in. Now what we want to hit on the last part of this tutorial is how to create kind of your shadows and your highlights. Now shadows and highlights are what makes a character look real. And to do this, what we want to do is we want to come on in here and open up this original file and find just a shadow. So we see that there really isn't any shadow just because of this photo was taken with a really big flash. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go off and make a fake shadow. So what I'll basically do is I'm going to take away Mac Miller, and I'm just going to kind of see where a shadow would be. So if the sun was coming from the top, there would be a shadow right here because of the sunglass. It's going to be touching his eye. So let's just say I want to make a shadow right here. So I'm going to kind of go like this, and then I'm going to hold down Alt, hit this little square, and I'm just going to follow the outline. So you want to stay inside the outline and make sure that you guys don't go out of it. And then what you guys can do is make a new layer and say right click, say fill path, and then use the same color of the skin. So I'm just going to hit foreground color because that skin color is in my foreground. If it's not in your foreground, to make sure that the skin color, or whatever color you're trying to make it look like there's a shadow there, you want to make sure that you guys are using that as your foreground color. Now let's just hit OK, and we see that, oh, nothing has happened. But if I do go over to normal and go to multiply, then it is going to pop up as a kind of shadow type. Now what we want to do with this is we don't want to use 100%, but we can bring it down to about maybe 50%, or if you want to make sure that people do see it, maybe bring it down to 75%, and that's just going to make everything look a lot more real. As you guys see, it does make it look like the glasses are on his face now. We can also add one more just right down here below the glasses. There would be a shadow just because of the fact that the light's coming from the top. And that's the really nice thing about cartooning, is that you kind of get to choose where everything's coming from. You guys can either choose the light coming from the top, you guys can choose it from the bottom, you can kind of choose the color of whatever the person's wearing. You know, you guys can change the color of the hoodies, or you know, just whatever. And that's what is really nice about making a cartoon, is that you guys are kind of in control of what's going on. So it definitely is a lot of fun, and it definitely makes stuff and it just really kind of broadens your guys's kind of learning abilities, and really just kind of work on your own style and stuff like that. So as you guys see right there, now I have some shadows, and you guys just do the same thing for lighting. Just change it to multiply, and then it'll brighten it up. So if you guys do have any questions, please drop them in the comment sections below. This tutorial was a little bit more quicker than part one, just because I didn't want you guys having to sit here and kind of me babysit, you know, you guys through it. But that's how I shade, and that's how I would do it. I would definitely recommend using the paint bucket if you guys just want to give it a try. It's definitely a lot faster, and it still looks a lot clean, so it's not a really big deal. But if you guys do have any other questions or concerns about coloring and shading and making sure that your shadows and stuff like that meet up, please drop in the comment sections below. I'm always willing to help you guys out, and I'm always willing to answer you guys as soon as possible. So definitely drop those in the comment sections below. If you guys did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Let's try to get this tutorial up to 15 likes. That'd be great if we could do that. The last one actually got up to about 30 likes, so that's pretty good. So let's try to get this one up to 15 likes. And guys, until next time, my name is Andrew from PoshDesigns. I make quality graphics for free, and I make your visions a reality.
My thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me Fuck all that shit, just let me go. Owers and tastemakers make us no chaser. Gets the blood flowing like a fucking pacemaker. Cut the middleman.